name's Chance. Welcome to the Motocast. Today, we are going to talk about the best dirt bike for a beginner. For starters, we're going to break them down into two categories. First, there's trail bikes. Typically, these are 4 strokes. These are usually recommended as a beginner bike. They offer a smoother, less snappy ride due to the speed of the cylinder rotations being a lot slower. They also use a different type of fuel, which has a little to do with it as well. Although for experienced riders looking for high power on demand, these bikes tend to lag, also requiring more frequent, more complex maintenance. Then there's 2-stroke bikes. These bikes are typically used for racing or situations where you need to be able to act fast. Unless you're used to 2-stroke motors, I wouldn't recommend a 2-stroke dirt bike for a beginner. There's simply too much room for error. Although these are bikes you will never get bored of, think of a 4-stroke bike like a cross-country runner, and 2-stroke bikes are more like sprinters. Keep in mind your own physical strength, weight, and height need to be taken into account. A very heavy, large individual may need to start with something like a 450cc, while a smaller, weaker individual may need to start with something like a 110cc. With that out of the way, let's talk about these bikes. We're going to start off at the lower end of the power spectrum with the Honda CRF 110ccF. This bike weighs 160 pounds and has an impressive weight limit of 220 pounds for its size. This bike is mostly ideal for somebody in the lower 5-foot range despite its small size. This is a very capable bike with the top speed of 50 miles per hour. Of course, depending on terrain and rider weight, it has an automatic transmission ideal for riders who don't want to have to focus on gear shifting skills, and of course, with this bike being Honda parts, they will always be widely available, and the bike should last a very long time. This bike can be found for around $2,500 to $3,000 brand new, or around $1,000 to $2,000 in good condition in the used market. Next up, we're going to talk about another Honda bike with quite a bit of extra power and size for larger, taller individuals, a Honda CRF 250F. Similar to the CRF 125F with differences, including 3 extra inches of ground clearance, and this bike weighs a hefty 265 pounds, and a weight limit of 220 pounds. This can definitely be used as a beginner bike for someone who just doesn't quite fit a Honda CRF 125F. But you need to take extra caution and get a few hours of or more riding somebody else's bike. For those who don't want a Honda, another very reputable brand for beginner bikes I would recommend is the Kawasaki 140 RL. This bike has a very mild powered motor that's known to be very easy to learn on. It also has a low seat guaranteeing good control of the bike. This bike weighs 209.4 pounds, and this bike has an impressive top speed of 70 miles per hour. Wanting a 2-stroke bike, the Wisely 125 is a great option. This bike is liquid cooled and has a monoshock system. This bike has been ridden in 5 AMA National Motocross Championships. This bike is built to perform, and it weighs 208 pounds and is generally recommended for smaller riders, and you should probably have a little experience with 2-stroke motors before getting a 2-stroke bike yourself. All the bikes we have to go over today. Now it's up to you to decide which one would be best for you. Hope you found this podcast helpful. See you next time.